Hi friends, Krista here. Thank you so much for stopping by Books and Jams. Whether you're new here or you've been here a while, I'm so glad that you're here. Today we're going to take a minute to go through my goals that I made for myself in 2024, see how I'm doing, get a little check-in. What do I need to work on for the second half of the year? We're going to take a look at that, and I'm really excited. I feel like my reading goals have been doing great and my life goals have been doing not so great. So we're going to start with my 24 goals that I made for myself in 2024. I've separated them into 6 different categories and I have 4 goals for each category. So we're just going to kind of do a rundown real quick and see how I'm doing. I know there's like 5.5 months of the year left, so there is still time to make some of these things happen. We'll see. So the first category is hobbies, and I'm not doing great on these ones. So the first one is to play guitar at church. I have busted out my guitar 2 or 3 times and kind of played a little bit here at home. I don't think I'm going to be ready by the end of the year to play on the worship team, but maybe in a small group in the fall, I could possibly do that. It's still at church, but it's not up on stage. That's a possibility. We'll see how that goes. Number 2 for hobbies was to crochet something, and I did finish the blanket that I had started last year, and I still have to tie in the ends, which is where I was at in the first quarter. I also have a couple other projects, but I don't typically crochet in the summertime because it just gets so hot since I normally do just blankets. So I have not been crocheting at all, but there's still time. The third one is to learn a classical song on the piano. And again, I've sat down a few times and practiced, but I haven't picked like the song I really want to work on. Maybe that's a place to start. So maybe by the end of July or August, I should at least know what song I want to work on. Then when I sit down to just play, I have the song that I'm going to work on. So that's like a smaller step to work towards that bigger step that I can add. And then the fourth one for hobby is to complete an embroidery kit that I have purchased. I did open up the box, but I haven't actually started it. So step 1, open the box. Step 2, read the directions. Let's get that going. So there's definitely time. I just haven't done that yet. So hobbies, none of the 4. The second category is connection. This is things that I kind of push me out of my independent, isolated self. So the first one is to travel somewhere new. And the next week, I'm going to be going to St. Simon's Island in Georgia. That's new. I've never been there before. I've only driven through Georgia. I've never really stayed in Georgia. So I'm doing something new. So that will be able to be crossed off before the end of the month. The second goal was to write 1 snail mail a month, and I have written a total of 1 snail mail this year. So I definitely am not going to get 1 a month. I could get up to 12 by the end of the year. It just wouldn't have been spread out 1 a month. So I need to keep working on that. I would like to keep working on that. The third one is to go to 1 social activity a month, and I have checked off that January, February, and March, I did do that. And I think if I take a look at April, May, June, and July, it's possible that I have some for those as well. I just didn't mark it. I'd have to look back through my calendar and kind of think about those months to see if I did anything social. It's sad that I have to put that as a goal, right? Yikes. And then the fourth one is to start or attend an in real life book club. And I have not done that. I am in a Facebook group for a silent book club that meets in my town, but I haven't been to it yet. I wasn't able to for the first part of the year because I was doing a grief group on the Sundays that they were having the book club. But now that grief group ended in April, I should be able to do it. Just summer's been insane. So hopefully in the fall, I can make that happen. Then we move on to the next category, which is spiritual. And again, not doing so great on these goals. I started out the year doing really well and then have kind of fallen off the bandwagon. But the first goal is to memorize Ephesians chapter 6. And I did start working on this. I had started the first few verses, and then while we were stuck in airports when I was on my Nicaragua trip, I was writing out different parts of it. I'm going to focus on the end of chapter 6, which is the armor of God. I have had that memorized when I was a child, but I haven't worked on it or tried to remember that in a while. So I'm going to try to work on the armor of God section of chapter 6. So that would be good progress. Complete 3 Bible studies. I've done 0. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get that done by the end of the year. Read through the Bible in less than a year. Again, I started out so strong in my Bible reading and have fallen off on the consistency. So I need to get back into that. I don't know if I'll be able to finish in less than a year, but if I get back into it, it's very possible. And then finish my Hope Write the Word journal, which I've done a couple more pages in there, but I haven't been consistent with that either. So far, I'm on a 0 for 4, 8, 12. So out of the 12 goals so far, we're halfway through and I've completed none of them. I will have completed one by the end of the month though, so that's hopeful. There's still time. Okay, for online, the next category is online goals. Patreon, I want to be more consistent with us, in particular with a check-in that I do every week. And I have done very well with that, honestly. I've missed, I think, maybe only 1 or 2 weeks where I haven't done that check-in, including this week. But obviously I didn't do it when I was in Nicaragua. I'm not sure I did it when I was in New York. It might have been just a quick one. But I've done very well with that check-in every week, and I'm very proud of myself for that. The Christian read-alongs on YouTube, we've had 2 so far. Another one is scheduled for August, so I'm doing really well with that one. I wanted to do another collab video on YouTube outside of my one that I do for middle grade March. So I haven't thought about that too much as far as what I want the topic to be and reaching out to people. And then the 4th online goal is to post once a week on Instagram. I have not been doing that really at all. I think I've posted maybe 4 times on Instagram this year, which is not so great. So there's time to make a change in that, and it doesn't take too long. I just don't think about it. So maybe I need to work it into my schedule a little bit. We'll see. Okay. The 5th category is physical health. Number 1 is go to a doctor. Haven't done anything about that. Number 2 is have a month of intermittent fasting. And I do have that planned for August in my mind. And there's not much I can do ahead of time to prepare, but I'm planning to do intermittent fasting for the month of August. I've actually even started reading Fast, Feast, Repeat by Jen Phillips, which is a book about intermittent fasting. And I started it last year, but never finished it. And I'm reading it again in preparation for August. I'll probably be reading it throughout the month of August, but I have that on the go. The 3rd goal is to close my rings on. I do have an Apple Watch. It's not on today right now, but a goal is to close my rings on your Apple Watch. There's rings that show your progress in movement each day, which is calories burned, exercise, and standing, how many hours throughout the day that you're standing. So my goal is to close all 3 of those rings for 30 consecutive days. I did have an issue with my Apple Watch where it wasn't linking correctly to my phone. And when I got that fixed, so it's linked correctly, it erased all of my previous data. So I probably got pretty close in April and May when I was doing workouts from my brother, but I didn't have the data, so there's no proof. So I still have a few months, 5 months to work on that. I can do it. And then the last part of the health section is to complete 10 monthly challenges. I'm just going to cross off complete 10 and just keep track of what my monthly challenges are and then highlight if I've done them or not. Because again, I have things marked for the first 4 months, but even still, March is none. I need to get back on the consistency train when it comes to monthly challenges. Normally that's not a difficult one for me because I do them all the time, but yeah, I just have been slacking off, and that's okay. Life has been different. We're going to do the best we can. Then the last section is home and finances. And so I would like to do a year. I had planned on doing a year of decluttering where I hit each room 2 times in my house. And I did great. Again, January, February, and March, April, May, June, and so far July, but there's still time in July. April, May, and June, I did not do so great second quarter, but I still have the rest of the year. So I have it separated out as to which room to work on for which month. We'll see what we can do. The second home and finances goal, it was to declutter all of my photos, and I've not worked on that at all. The third one is to save a certain amount of money. And if I looked at my savings account right now, I have more than that in there. So I'm going to count that as done. And then the 4th one is to be debt free. And there's still time. I'm not sure I could do it by the end of the year since my job situation is slightly changing for the next couple of months. Not completely changing, but my hours are dropping. So I'm not sure I could be as intentional with paying off some of my debt, but I will be close by the end of the year. I will be close. So overall, not doing fantastic, Not doing awful, making some progress. If I had to pick one of these 6 categories that I really do want to focus on for the next couple of months, it would be this spiritual one where I'm working on memorizing, getting back into the habit of Bible reading a little bit more than normal, that write the word journal, and then the Bible studies. If I could pick one category, that's the one that I would like to focus on. So we'll see what I can do about that. But let's switch gears now and talk about my reading goals for the year. And I'm very pleased when I went through this to just kind of see where I'm at. I'm very pleased with how this is going, but it's not going to look that way when we talk about the first one, which is to increase my NetGalley percentage, my feedback percentage. At the start of the year, I was at 38%. I am currently at 36% because I've requested things and haven't read them. However, I went through my list of books that I need to give feedback on, and there are 11 that I have read and not written a review for. And I'm reading one right now, and I have another one planned for August. So that's 13. If I would just sit and write the reviews for those 13 books, 100%, my ratio would be up over 38%. So I just need to do that. I just need to sit down and do it, right? Number 2 reading goal was to read 20 series books, and I'm at 16. So I'm very pleased with how my series reading has gone this year, and I do still plan on doing series September again. So for sure, I will complete that goal of reading 20 series. Number 3 is to read 12 Book of the Month books. And so far I have read 9. So I really only have 3 left to complete that goal, and Catch-Up-a-thon starts in just a few days. So 100% I will complete that goal of reading 12 Book of the Month books. Very pleased about that. The 4th goal is to read 12 Christmas books. And so far, I've read 8, which is one ahead of where I should be at this point. So I have 4 left to read of my Christmas book exchange books. Also doing fantastic on that goal. Number 5 is to read 12 Kindle books, and I've only read 3. So that one's not going so great. I would have to read 9 more Kindle books in order to complete that goal. And realistically, that's just not going to happen. I think it was ambitious to put 12, but if I had been doing 1 a month, like I planned at the beginning of the year, it would have been fine. So we'll see. 9 more Kindle books though in the next 6 months, 5 months. I just don't think it's going to happen. We'll see though. I might surprise myself. Number 6, I just crossed off. I'm not even bothering anymore. I really wanted to be more intentional with what's coming in and what's going out. And so I had this track in and out as a goal, but it's unrealistic for me that I'm going to do that. So I started at the beginning of the year, but I quickly fell off the bandwagon, and it's not something that's easy to catch back up with. So I just crossed it off. It's not something that's as important to me now as it was at the beginning. I still want to be intentional with what I'm buying and what I'm bringing in, but I can't resist a good sale. I've slowed down on my Pango buying though. I've slowed down on Book Outlet buying. So I am being good about like not just going willy-nilly with buying stuff, but it's just unrealistic to try to track it. And then the last one, 7, I just put challenges, and I'll talk real quick about the 2 challenges that I'm keeping track of this year. Every year I do an alphabet challenge. I'm hoping to put pictures of the books. I need to learn how to do that. But so far with the alphabet challenge, I'm killing it. I'm doing so good. I'm not going to go through each book that's on here, but I will say that I still need Q and then X, Y, and Z. But I have gone through my shelves and I found a book that will satisfy Q, X, Y, and Z in my mind. So these are going to go up on my like potential TBR shelf. So for Q, I have The Queen of Ebenezer by KB Hoyle. Very little. I think this is a middle grade or teen read. For X, I just say if it's in the title anywhere, it'll count. So I have The Siren of Sussex by Mimi Matthews. This is the start of the Bells of London series. I have the first couple on my shelves and I'm very interested in reading this. I read Holiday by Gaslight, I believe is the one I've read by her, and I loved it. It's kind of Regency era romance. So it has an X, Siren of Sussex. That would count for me. For Y, I have Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I'm not convinced I'm going to like this one, but clearly it starts with a Y. At least I want to give it a try and see what I think. And then for Z, I don't have any books with a Z in the title even, I don't think. I don't remember. But this, the author's last name starts with a Z. So I'm going to count this. The Wishing Seed by Alyssa Zevallianos. And this is one that I just received for my birthday. It's another middle grade. And it's a relatively short book, but I think this will count for me for Z. So those are the 4 that are going up on my shelf to complete the alphabet challenge. And then I'm going to try to learn how to do the pictures. And I need to write alphabet challenge across the top. And then the other challenge that I tracked this year is the buzzword reading challenge. And I've filled in so far everything that I have completed. So I have 4 left, and they're all, well, I have 5 left. 4 of them are the ones with a specific word in the title, and I haven't read anything with those 4 words in the title. And then the 5th one is holiday season words, which I'm sure I will read something in December with a holiday word in it. But I did find on my shelves 4 books that have the words that I need. One of them I have checked out from the library right now, and that's The One and Only Family. This would be awesome because it completes a series, but also has the word only in it, which is one of the buzzwords. And I really want to read this by Catherine Applegate. It starts with The One and Only Ivan, and then we have Bob, One and Only Bob, One and Only Ruby, and then this last one in the series, The One and Only Family. There, and there, like the 3 different ways to write there, was one of the buzzwords. And so I have Their Eyes Are Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. This is one of my Christmas book exchange books, so it would fulfill another one of those. And I think this might be one that I put as an option for my patrons this month. I don't know. But that is one of my options. I have Think Like a Lady, Act Like a Lord. Act like a lady, think like a lord. So like is one of the buzzwords. So this is one of my NetGalley books. So that would be fantastic. Another combination of goals with that one. And then finally, Every, I think was the other word. And so I have Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. This is one that I tried on audio and it wasn't working for me. So I needed to read it in print. So here I have the print version. This is a mystery and the narrator breaks the 4th wall. So it's a little bit different in style. So I'm excited to read all of these. And I think actually Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone might be a NetGalley book for me as well. So those are the 4 books. Well, this one's a library book, so I'm going to read this one soon. But these 3 are going up on my shelf to read this year as well, so that I can kind of complete those goals, hopefully, before the end of the year. That's the end of all of my goals. I'm doing great with my reading goals, not so great with my life goals. But you know what? I don't care. Ultimately, goals are fun to have as something to work towards. But if I don't complete them, life doesn't end. They are not necessities. There's no consequences, ultimately, if I don't complete these goals. So I enjoy making them because I enjoy having something to work towards, but I don't stress about it. So it's just fun to check in and see, kind of remind myself what was important to me at the beginning of the year, kind of check in, is it still important to me? Change my mind on some things if I need to, and that's fine. But yeah, I don't stress about it, and I encourage you not to stress about your goals either. It's just a fun way to kind of categorize and work towards things in your life to improve things maybe, but ultimately to just have fun. So that is my little soapbox about goals. I would love to hear, how are you doing with your goals? Do you even make goals for the year, for reading or for your life? I always love chatting with people about goals. I love hearing what goals people set for themselves and how they're working towards them. I would love to hear that if you would feel so led to share. If not, that's fine too. Just say hello down in the comments. I love chatting with you down there. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me today. I really look forward to talking with you in another video very soon. Bye.